Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us today. Excuse me. Topic we have on tap for you today is lightworkers. Who they are, what their function is, what they're here to do, that kind of stuff. And when you look at lightworkers, or when you do research online to look up what a light worker is, you're going to find a lot of different things about light workers. For instance, there may be a number of um, different distinctions between light workers, but I like to break things down pretty simplistically. And so, for instance, when you go to the lawofattraction.com, it has like 8 different levels of light workers and the different functions each carries. But when you break down what they're actually trying to tell you, in my mind, I'm not saying they're right and I'm right, but I really look at light workers as like maybe one of two, maybe three different levels. You have your healers, your messengers, and then you have your like quote unquote light workers, those who are working with the light to bring love into this world. So that that to me encompasses all aspects of light workers and what we are here to do. But a couple things to break down before we get into those 3 different levels of the levels that I subscribe to. they I definitely light workers in general, even when you're young, there's something different about you. You don't necessarily subscribe to the same things that your friends might do. For instance, growing up in the city, your friends could like to drink early at an early age, or they could excuse me, you guys know how I get with that throat thing when I start talking here. But uh, at an early age, you just know you're different. So you might not drink early, or if your friends are going to get in trouble and maybe start trouble, whether it be with other kids or I don't know, throw rocks at cars, I don't know, whatever it is. You at an early age see yourself as a little different. You don't always subscribe to those ways of passing time, and you're aware of the hurt and pain or damage that you could be doing to another person. And that's something to be aware of as you look back on your life and see the different ways in which kind of participated with your friends in different activities, and whether it was, and I'm not saying you never did it. I'm just saying most of the time, many times, you always aired on the side of, I'm going to go do something else while you guys do your thing, and I'll catch back up with you at a later time. So, definitely at an early age, light workers, you don't might not know you're a light worker, but you know there's something different about you. And looking back on your life now, you can almost see those situations develop and see your mind back in the day how it was acting. And now as you're getting older, you are beginning to understand and realize that you definitely have a purpose. And you might not understand what that purpose is yet, but you understand that you're different and that there is a reason you're here, and that reason is for good. You almost have a calling to the light, or to use your gifts in some way, shape, or form, and that's where the messenger, the light worker, and the healer come in. And light workers, I tell you, most of us, I would say, probably are light workers. I would say a lot of us are anyway. And that is so there's a difference in using your gifts and then using them to spread love. And to me, light workers, that's what we're all about. That's what light workers do. They are all about love, spreading love, and bringing love to this world in one of those forms. healing, messenger, and this overall light work. And that is a big aspect in my belief system to what a light worker is and what they do. And when you begin to realize your calling of trying to help people, or you're an individual that gives messages, or you literally do work with the light, um it's it's important that you begin to embrace that, because as we stated here before, there is a need for each and every one of us. Every one of us has a purpose and a need here. And when you begin to embrace that as a light worker, whatever your job is there as a light worker, to bring love, I mean, ultimately to bring love into this world and to spread it, to be that beacon of light for people in their darkest times. That obviously it doesn't take much thought to really sit back and see how important that job is, because we live in a world of darkness. So when we are not when we are not in tune with that calling, and we have it, when we have the calling and we're not in tune with it, or we're not trying to develop it or open up to it, or to spread that love, then just the world is missing out on you and that beautiful purpose that you carry with you. And you know, it's unfortunate for sure. So hopefully this podcast will begin to shed a little bit more light on these light workers, and why we're here, and how important it is for people to embrace that mindset and to begin to spread that love, because the world is in need of such love. And you guys know that I'm not sharing anything new there. So light workers definitely are some extremely important people. And we'll get into the first one here, which is light workers and working light workers working with the golden white light, or white light. Now, when I tell you how this working with light energy is absolutely amazing and extremely powerful. And I know I don't I can't even begin to describe how powerful this light is, and how powerful it can be when you begin to use that light to help other people. So when you begin to work with the white light, and when I say work with the white light, what does that mean? That means that you are engaging in meditations where you are filling your body, all of your cells in your body, filling your chakras, your light body, filling them all with white light. But as you fill them all with white light, you are also beginning to release the negativity within your own nervous system, energy body. That's starting to shed. And you are literally beginning, as we were saying in the one of the other two last podcasts, one of them was that you're shedding this old skin. So when you work with that light and you shed that skin, and then you begin to bring this light into the world. And when I say that, I mean you visualize this white light coming down from heaven, or from above, and then beginning to fill the earth, you, other people. When I tell you how powerful this is, I say that with sincerity, but because I've practiced it, I've used it, and I've seen how powerful it is. And I'll give you some examples here. There have been people that I've been working with who are, whether it be they have needs, special needs, and they have had an issue like behavioral problems, or maybe they're nonverbal, and they weren't able to communicate much of what they were experiencing, and yet we knew that there was something wrong, whether it was them sick, or they were experiencing some kind of discomfort. whether it have been mental or physical, don't know. But you go through a white light meditation and you begin to work with this light, and you, again, it is extremely important you fill yourself up with this light first before you start putting it on other people, because it's intense. But then you literally focus that light on someone else, and you noticeably see a difference. Like, the issues that they were having to seem to have gone away, at least for the time being. And when I tell you that I've used this practice on a number of people in a number of different situations and have had 100% 100% success rate with it, that's no joke. I've done meditations on people. I have worked with people individually to help them with different ways of removing the issue at hand and overcoming. At least for, if not for just a few hours, then for at least the rest of the day, maybe even for good in some instances. There's one child that I worked with where he was having some behavioral issues for a good 2 weeks, and I had a teacher come to me and tell me about it. Now, she didn't know I was going to do anything about it. She was just warning me, hey, so and so's been acting up. We've been having issues with them. We're not entirely sure what's going on. We're trying to work with them to figure it out, but we're just giving you a heads up. Well, the morning that I was there to work with him, two incidents happened. And when they happened, I was physically pushed from him because he was acting aggressively. Well, that happened early in the early in the morning, and then by late morning, I actually did a meditation on him. And the rest of the day, he did not have any outburst, and that was quite impressive to see, because by early morning he already had two, and he was having several throughout the course of every day over the course of like 2 week span. So we went from having two in the morning, having multiple every day, to only having those two after I did the meditation. And it seemed to, it seemed to work. And I say seemed, saying that it did work in that he had no additional outbursts the rest of the day. And there are a dozen other stories that I can tell you to where I used these different techniques and they helped. They helped people. And there's no doubt that light workers around the world are helping people every day. Now, the next one, the healer. Now, this one is an interesting one because you have Reiki masters, Reiki people that do Reiki in general, people that are energy healers out there that are extremely powerful people. And anybody that has ever been to an energy healer who knows the power in which energy healing could have over your body. It's pretty astounding. There's no disputing the effects and the potential that energy healing has over the physical body. And now granted, I've helped people energy healing wise. I just told you some scenarios there, but I am nothing when it comes to a healer. Like, some of these people are impressive, and the capacity at which they can heal and the sensitivity at which they can feel certain things throughout your human body is amazing, and definitely something that I encourage a lot of people to begin to look out for. Energy healers, if you have an issue. So, hey, yes, always go to the doctor for sure. Definitely, make sure the doctor sees you and, you guys can address any situations. But in addition to going to your regular doctor, I absolutely recommend to seek out an energy healer. And there are multiple types of energy healers out there. I just saw my one friend, Jackie. She just sent me a video, excuse me, about this energy healer doctor in a chiropractor, actually. I'm not sure if he's a doctor out in California who works with people on an energetic level, and he uses a technique that I'm not familiar with. I've never seen before this video, but it was quite impressive, and some of the reactions to what he was doing were astounding in that the reaction was quite profound, both on a physical level and on an energetic level. So he was tapping into people. So he's a light worker healer, and he was tapping into people energetically, trying to help with their energetic bodies. But then he was also, like, on a physical level, it was affecting them, and an emotional level too. Like, these people were coming away crying. Now, granted, it was a video, so editing and all that comes into play, and you don't know what was staged and stuff. But you gotta believe too, and some of this stuff is quite amazing. I've seen some of these people at work. Just in my dealings with different people over the years. And I mean, even yoga, and to an extent, there are some extremely powerful yoga teachers out there that really know how to tap into your energy, and really, really, they can read it. So, and that's an interesting aspect of a light worker healer, in that we covered the bases, where you're young and you knew you were different from a young age. You didn't know necessarily how, but light workers that are healers and work with that energy for healing purposes, you could tell when you see them. They can tell when you see them. They can pick up on different ailments in your body, whether it's through the energetic passing or reading of your energy, or whether it's through a touch, or whether it's through just the empathic ability that they possess. Because a lot of healers do have that empath ability, and it really helps them. That is a really, really, it it's a huge aspect of a healer, or a huge tool to the healer, to be able to read people's energetic pains, if you will, so that they can use that reading to begin to help heal them in different ways. So if I go to somebody and I start feeling their emotions and their pain and their ailments, well, obviously I can then begin to use that to put whatever healing modality I'm using onto this individual in the areas in which they need. Now, with that being said, I will say this: within in regards to Reiki, you are not the healer per se. You bring the light to the person, but the light is really doing the work, and that's in all energetic aspects of healing. It's always the light that does the work, and even the light workers themselves, who are just working specifically with the light to help in some way, shape, or form, whether it be the world or the healers. So that is yeah, that's all good stuff. And when you begin to work with this light and feel people's energy and know where to go with it, that obviously is a powerful tool. But it is also a tool that is very difficult to live with, because it's very it's very difficult to just turn that on and off. Like, when you're trying to when you're out in a restaurant and you start feeling someone's pain, you're obviously not seeking it out. But sometimes, as a healer, you don't have that choice. That energy just comes to you naturally, and that's another aspect of light workers, is that naturally people naturally gravitate to us. We are naturally like counselors for people, our friends, friends in our circle. We are the natural counselors for them, because it's in our energy system. It's the light that we carry. It's who we are. It's part of what we're made of. And people unknowingly, and even knowingly in some instances, but unknowingly in a lot, just gravitate, come to us and seek our opinions out and seek our thoughts out. And like I said, that's sometimes that can be a little tough when you are dealing with feeling the emotion that these individuals are carrying with them, because you really got to work on your grounding techniques. You really got to work on letting go and knowing that that stuff is not yours and you don't have to carry it. So that's an important aspect of being a light worker and something to be aware of. So the last one, though, is a messenger. So a light messenger. What is a light messenger? It's very similar to a light worker, but you obviously are. So the light worker works with the light and sends the light. Light messengers are people that receive messages about the light and then spread that word out. So you're talking people like life coaches or spiritual speakers. What's the other word? Motivational speakers, people like that are working, and some of these people might not even be like knowingly spiritual, but yet carry this sense of helping mentality for the world with them, and they bring it to all people and they use that for the good, and that's an awesome thing. So don't get confused by thinking that, hey, if you don't know you're a light worker, you're not. That's not the case. You might not know you're a light worker, but you're still doing light work, and that's a beautiful thing. Because, like I said, as you're a kid growing up, you probably strayed away from certain activities that your friends were doing, and you might not have known, probably didn't know why you were doing it, but you did it. That's because you were carrying that energy. Well, there are some adults that don't necessarily know they're light workers, but they're carrying that energy and they're doing the work, and that is quite okay. But all three of these people are important people to the ascension process, because these are people that we can leverage in our society if you seek them out and talk with them, because they're all here to help us. Not most, all. They're all here to help us. They all have a purpose. They all have a message in whatever way, shape, or form that is, whether it be a light worker or a healer or a messenger. They have a message. They have a purpose. And even if they don't know exactly what that purpose is, as like specifically a light worker, they are going to try and help, because that's what their energy is all about. So that's definitely something to, and I'm so sorry, I say that a lot, I apologize. But it's so true. It's so true. It's something to be aware of. It's something that is important, because we're all important. And yeah, and so we carry that energy, and we naturally have people gravitate to us, and light messengers have messages that are from the light. Now, light messengers are different than mediums. That distinguishing factor has to be put out there. Mediums are not necessarily light messengers, but light working messengers are mediums. So I hope you guys get that difference. Just because I'm a medium doesn't mean I'm a light worker. I am, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, because my messages could only be about, and I'll give you an example. The Long Island medium does not strike me as a light messenger. She is a medium, yes, and gets information tied to this realm very easily. But she does not strike me as a light worker at all. She does she is she a nice person? Of course. Yes, totally. Um but her whole purpose is for just communicating past loved ones' messages. That's it. And those messages are simply, hey, and these are important messages. I'm not saying anything about that. These are important messages. They're just not light messages, and that's an important distinguishing factor. The other difference is somebody like let me somebody else that's you have a. I mean, I wanna say there's a guy on Facebook. I'm trying to Goopor. Oh, here's one. Um, Deepak Chakra. Deepak Chakra from Oprah is a light messenger. His messages are totally of the light and trying to help everybody. He is spreading light. He is spreading his message, and his messages are divinely guided, for sure. So there, and hopefully that difference there is enough for you guys to understand the difference. Oh, the other one is the medium in L.A. That kid, I forget his name. But he's a medium. He's not a light messenger. And you could see the difference in some of their messages. Like light messengers, their message is from the light. They are here to help you. They're help you grow, not necessarily just to say, "Hey, forgive me for what I did when I was alive," or "I like to make meatballs when I was alive." That's not what their purpose is. Their purpose is to help you. Not only to help you though, it's to help everybody. And they put their messages out there to help everybody. It's not only geared towards like one particular person. It is for the collective, and it is for trying to awaken the light and the soul in all of us to begin that alignment. So people like Deepak Chakra are people that are trying to do that, and there are so many others. Tony Robbins is another good example of someone that is a light messenger, who may not even know it. I don't know much about him, but I don't ever hear him talk about spiritual stuff. So for now, just out of ignorance, I'm going to say he's a light messenger and maybe doesn't know it until I find out that he really does know that he's a light messenger. But he brings a lot of positivity to people, and he's helping people on a collective. So he's not just solely working with, one person here and there, and his messages are deep, that talk to your soul and try to help open you up to be the best version of who you are. That is the difference between mediums and light messengers. They are trying to help you open up so that you are the best version of you and not just getting these messages from past loved ones. So anyway, there you go. Lightworkers. Huge, huge, huge purpose in this world. Light workers in general are people that you can trust, are people that you can go to for help. And while we do that, I will say this. Reach out to them and make sure they are doing okay. Because sometimes light workers don't necessarily or forget to take care of themselves, whether it be through rest, through not trying to help at different times. So like as I said earlier, light workers have a tendency of attracting people to them for help. I mean, it's just natural because of the energy that they carry. So if you know of someone that is a light worker like this and is trying to help so many people, reach out to them and make sure that they're taking their breaks and doing what they need to do to remain strong. Because there are times when these people definitely forget about that because they're selfless people. They forget about it and they kind of lose their strength. They can get a little frustrated because one, they're feeling your energy. Two, they're not taking care of themselves. Ultimately that's on them. They need to take care of themselves, but they love people so much that they do really forget to take care of themselves. So, hey, if you know somebody, reach out to them and ask them, hey, are you taking care of yourself? Are you okay? Especially if it's a light worker that you reach out to, because these people, all of us are good people, and all of us have extreme powers, gifts that I encourage us all to use. All I'm saying here is that light workers have a purpose of serving humanity, and others might have a different purpose, all of which are important qualities and important jobs and important functions that we all must do. So there is no One is not better than the other. Do not think that way. And don't think, oh my God, I want to be a light worker because I'm not, or whatever. No, embrace who you are. Just all I'm saying is reach out to them and make sure they're, reach out to them. Make sure that they're helping themselves, because there's no doubt that they're reaching out to you, trying to find out if you're okay. That's who they are. So, but embrace who you are. And that's an important message to understand here. There is no jealousy. There is no wishing I was this or that. It is be who you are and allow yourself to develop in the direction that you're supposed to go, because that is so importantly, desperately needed for you to be you. So with that, I will take a moment and I will channel here. My children. Yes, it is Enoch speaking. Grateful I am, we are, for this session here today. For it has been one of energetic purpose within this realm of late. The energy in this realm is greatly increasing, and the effects that it is having on many is great, physically and emotionally. There are many aspects of the energy that is coming into this planetary realm at this time that is affecting many of you. Please be aware of such energies as they arrive into this atmospheric world plane, because the effects that it has on the human body and the human emotional system, nervous system, is true and great, and can affect the body in many, many different ways. Sickness, feeling sick, tired, dizzy are aspects. Headaches, nausea are aspects in which this energy can be affecting many. Now we understand the flu is a sickness, illness that is spreading and does spread around this world on a regular basis. However, please understand and distinguish the differences between them. Ascension symptoms are much different, and the energy coming forth in this world is one of great intensity, and the feeling is much different than the feeling of a flu. Yes, there are some symptoms that may be common, but it is not necessarily the same, and the awareness of the body and its feelings should be noted, for this is where you will ultimately be able to determine the difference between ascension symptoms and energetic vibration frequency increasing, which is a direct result of the frequencies in which are flowing into this planetary realm at this time. The energy also brings forth with it a greater understanding intuitively, and the purpose of your gifts developing even more so rapidly. This is an aspect of the frequencies that we are enjoying to see and beginning to interact with many on a number of different levels. For it is our purpose to interact with the humankind world and to allow for them to interact with us. As Ascendant Masters, it is our job to help all ascend, and thus we do. It is through this energetic frequency rising that we are able to communicate on such more pertinent and prevalent levels. Please be aware of the frequency at which you are receiving communication, for it is a tremendous amount in a number of different ways. But it is through the frequency rising of the atmosphere that will allow for the communication to be felt even more so, even without the direct development of you and your gifts. The gifts will be developing regardless, as a direct result of the frequencies that are entering this atmosphere, this plane. We are grateful for your patience with this energy as it begins to attune and align with your body, physical. However, those of the lower vibrational mindset will struggle mightily during these times, for this energy is extremely high in frequency and thus causes sicknesses, illnesses to be felt even more so. extreme than those that are awakening by choice. Death is even something that could occur as a direct result of the frequencies increasing should the body and soul not be in alignment and their purpose was to align in this lifetime. Their body and soul are just unable to acclimate to the new frequency coming in, and thus the body is released and the soul is returned to home to reincarnate at another time and allow for the soul to inhabit another body at another time and begin the ascension process from where it has left off. These are aspects of passing, death, to be very well aware of, that the energy itself is a true purpose for a human being unable to acclimate to the new frequencies coming into this world, and thus choosing as a soul to leave the body and return home for a later time to reincarnate. For not all humans, obviously, will experience this, but there are a select few that do, as a direct result of the inability to acclimate to the new energy. As the soul returns home, it is important to note that the body, soul, will return again to a body, and at that time will be much more prepared to align body and soul to the light. And thus ascension will most likely begin. But again, this is only a select few that this is a concern for. Most people will experience symptoms that they are unable to determine why they are even feeling it. And yet it is a direct result of the energetic frequency of this world rising. The light that the human body works with is extremely important to understand, for it is only able to work with so much light that it can acclimate to. This is important, imperative to understand. You cannot work with more light than your body is willing or able to acclimate to. You must acclimate to light energy on low levels at a time. And over the course of years, you will begin to acclimate to more and allow for more and more light to enter the physical body. And thus you may work with that light even more so remotely. But it takes time to acclimate to so much light and allow for the soul's aura to expand as a direct result of the light that you have been working with. Very important to understand here, and we are grateful for the attentiveness that you have brought forth on this evening and to this podcast. We hope that the information provided today is one of usefulness to you all, for we understand the Lightworkers' purpose and meaning and the importance that they carry with them on this realm. You are all, though, very important, and it is encouraging that you all be, as stated, who you are meant to be. For we love you all, and you all serve a great purpose. Thank you, and good night. Enoch speaking. Thank you, Enoch. That was a pretty interesting message. Hopefully you guys found it interesting as well. Either way, I appreciate you all. I thank you all. I hope you all have a great night, and I will absolutely talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Chris Wynne. Please go to opentooenergy.com. Shoot me an email. Shoot me a text message. Either way, get in touch with me. I'm on Facebook too, opentooenergy.com, or Chris Wynne Soul, Channeling Soul Message, something like that. If you go to Open to Energy, I have a link to it on the website. But anyway, go to the website, shoot me a question, whatever, tips, tricks, whatever. Love you all. I appreciate you all, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you.